Now it is recording. So Hemang Raj.
Hello, sir. Is my screen visible?
Yes, you are not sharing the screen.
It's disabled for me.
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, now tell me the name of your task.
It's prescriptive analysis.
Yeah, you can start.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Hemang, and I am from machine learning and deep learning domain. My task was to perform prescriptive analysis. So, first, let us see that what is prescriptive analysis. So, any analysis which involves the history of the data. Based on the history, we see what we have to do with that data. In the simplest term, I'll give you a simple example for that. Let us assume that there is a group of three friends. One of them wants to go on a desert safari in the vacation. The second friend wants to go on a sea beach, and the third friend wants to go on a hill station. So these are the data which we have. Now, here is where prescriptive analysis comes into the picture. Now, in India, there is monsoon season, and along with monsoon, we have summer also. So three of them decide that desert is not an ideal choice. Desert safari is not an ideal choice because it will be too hot there. Now, next thing is sea beach. One of them says that during summers and rainy season, the sea beach has a lot of humidity. And due to the monsoon season, there is red alert near the sea beaches. So they might not be able to get into the sea. So they reject that option. And the last option that is remaining is hill station. Hill station, it is pretty cold over there compared to other parts of the country. So it's ideal to go to hill station in the summer season. This is what prescriptive analysis is. So prescriptive analysis is a branch of advanced analytics that involves using data. What is data? Data is the past data of any company, any share, any stock, or inventory data of any business. It uses mathematical models and optimization techniques to provide recommendations or prescribe optimal courses of action. Using that past data, using that history of data, we decide the course of our action. Looking at our stocks, we decide that do we have to refill our inventory, or do we, or first we have to sell the products which are already there in our stock, then we have to again start the production. Next is loading the data. So data is loaded from Kaggle, and similarly, like we do in every other machine learning project, we have to pre-process the data. The major task of pre-processing the data is cleaning the data from outliers or null values. So these are the product code, warehouse, product category, date, order, demand are the columns of our data, in which date has some null values. So it's better to remove null values because it gives better values for in modeling the data. We remove the null values, and the shape of the data is then taken. I'll take you to the complete data Jupyter notebook. From there, I'll explain. So this is the data which I have loaded. Next is df.head. df.head and df.tail are the two important commands which we do to see the top five and the last five columns of our data. It tells us that our data is loaded properly into the data frame. df.info gives information about the data, that the account is non-null, means the data has some values. The data type is object or integer. Next is shape of the data. Shape of the data, we can see this is the shape of our data frame, number of rows into number of columns. This is the tail. And after we drop that null of, this is df dot describes, gives us the mathematical values of the our data set. After we drop the null values, our data frame shape changes. We can see that earlier it was 1048575. Here we have 1037336. So we can see that after dropping those null values, our data set has reduced. Next, what we do is we try to visualize the data. The best thing is to visualize the data so that we can understand what our data contains and how we can proceed further. This is the order demand trend, where order versus date graph is plotted. We can see that for which particular year our demand was highest. This gives us an insight that on in which year we performed better, in which year our sales went down. The next chart is of total demand for each warehouse. We have four warehouses in our data set, four inventories we can say. So each inventory produces some set of product, and we can see that which inventory sales were highest. That means which products manufactured held by which inventories or which warehouses were sold the most. So we can see that the third warehouse had the highest sales or the highest demand. Demand and sales are one and the same thing. Next thing is pie chart, distribution of products across categories. We have many products in our data sets. That is why the numbers are overlapping over here. But we can see that some categories like 19 and category 1, they are dominating over other categories. That means the products of these categories have sales higher than the product of other categories. Next is prescriptive analysis has one important thing which is called as linear programming. Now these basic visualizations which I have shown now. Then after this basic visualization, the first thing which comes is linear programming. So what is linear programming? A linear programming is a branch of operations research where we have to maximize or minimize some constraint, some value. So in our case, in our sales data, we have to maximize the sales, or we can say we have to minimize our cost. They are one and the same thing. If we minimize our cost, our profits will go up, or if we maximize our sales, again our profit goes up. The constraints are the order quantity for each product should be greater than or equal to the demand. That means how much ever we are manufacturing, how much the number of quantities which are manufactured by us should be less than the quantities which are being requested in the market. That means we should always be in a state where the market is in surplus, where the market need is always more. If the market sales falls down, subsequently our inventories will stack up. Our inventories will have more products. That will be a loss for us. So our target should be that we should always try to keep up with the market. Next is we try to implement a function of linear programming into our data. We have to pulp is an important header, we can say library function in Python, which we have to include to find the optimal solution. So what is optimal order quantity? Optimal order quantity is the order quantity for any particular product which must be sold to maximize our profit. So these are the optimal order quantity for all the products which are being listed in this. Next thing is, there are two important factors which we have to consider. The first thing is reorder point. So every now and then in business, when we are manufacturing something or we are selling something, at certain point, our stocks go down. That means we have sold whatever we had. So what we have to do? At that time, we have to remanufacture or reorder our products. So there should be a reorder point on which we have to consider that we have done subsequent enough sales now. Now we can reorder or refill our inventory. So if there is an optimal point on which we can reorder, it will again minimize our cost. So to calculate the reorder point, we have to assume a fixed cost, because the fixed cost was not given in the data. We have to assume a cost of 50, and according to that, sorry, that was the economic survey. We have to, in reorder point, we get 1,30,754. That means when the total number of products in our inventory reach near to 1,30,000, we have to consider refilling our inventories. That means our products are doing good, they are selling good. Now we have to refill our inventory. The second factor which we can consider is economic order quantity. Economic order quantity is, again, after calculating the reorder point, we should see that how much we have to order. How much we have to order that our sales are in smooth process. That is called as economic order quantity. This was reorder point, and next is economic order quantity. It helps determine the ideal order quantity that minimizes the total inventory cost. Inventory is nothing but warehouse. So after calculating the EOQ or economic order quantity, we get 493. That means every time our inventory value falls to 1,30,000, we must order 493 more products for our inventory. Next is sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis gives us the optimal values, so that we can compare it with the values which we have got. So optimal EOQ is nearly 100 for sensitivity analysis, and what we have got here is around 493. And optimal ROP is 328, and we have got the values in lakhs. This can happen. Why this can happen is, there are 4 warehouses, and each warehouse has different products with different year. When we calculate sensitivity analysis, it's like averaging, normalizing the values. When we normalize the value, we get the values which are in between. These are like the mean values. But when we find EOQ and reorder point, we are assuming a cost of 50. So this gives us a different value. If our data set in real life has a predefined cost, we will get the sensitivity analysis same as what we have calculated here. But due to lack of the cost price, we are getting this value. So these were the two important steps, reorder point and economic order quantity. So this was the part of linear programming. There are two more methods. One is mixed integer programming and integer programming. Again, these two methods also gives us the reorder point and economic order quantity, but our data doesn't have the sufficient values like which warehouse manufactures which product for how much long time. So due to lack of data, we cannot calculate all those, we cannot implement all those algorithms in our data set. These are the sensitivity analysis values. And the key takeaways from this are prescriptive analysis can be used in business intelligence to gain insights. So most of the business today are computerized, and we can see that they use some sort of techniques to gain insights into their business, that they can forecast that which month will have more sales so that they can refill of their inventories, or which month had least sales so that they can reduce the factory workload in that month. Next is hours of manual laborious work can be completed within minutes. This was all done using Python. So if we have to do the same thing using the old linear programming method using pen and paper, this would take hours because we have data in lakhs together. So it might not be even be possible for one person to do the data to do the calculation. So with the help of Python and Panda and Pulp library, we can do that within minutes. And again, with prescriptive analysis, the linear programming is a subset of prescriptive analysis. Using that, we can find the optimal values for stocks and inventories, that how much should be the minimum reorder point and how much we have to, at one point, we have to consider refilling our inventories. So this was about prescriptive analysis. If you have any questions.
Are you done with your presentation?
Yes, sir, I'm done.
Okay. See, as I said, good presentation. Okay, your explanation was good. Also, prescriptive analysis was well explained, I would say. Results and key takeaways are also good. And it was quite good thing to see not just your regular conclusions, right, but a key takeaways. That is something unique. And I think you have done a really great job at doing that. But what I would recommend is that, see, your explanation was really great. Okay, but your presentation that you have created, it doesn't really have that strong of a content. Okay, because let us say you have a presentation, you have a title, and then you simply have an image, right? So instead of that, you can have small points. Let us say what that image tells you. Although you did explain it, but it is good idea to include it in your presentation also, so that overall there is few points on the let us say left side, and then an image is there on the, let us say, right side. Okay, that will be better, and it will also be good for your, let us say, audience to know where we are exactly right now in the presentation. Because your presentations are long, let us say your explanation is long, so people might not really get to what you have on your screen. So it is good idea to have that. I would say improve on that. Other than that, I would say, see, your explanation is always great, because I have said, see, not many people have talent for presentation, but you do really great presentation. Second thing is just, I would say, work on your PPT that you have created. Other than that, see, content was great. Output was also well explained. Last time I told you to emphasize on the output, and this time you have implemented it. So that is a great thing. But again, when it comes to project demonstration, I think you are just going too much step by step. So what is head and what is description, but instead focus on why we are actually using finding the null values. That will be better, because let us say someone is here who is not from, let us say, data science domain, right? So they may not know how things are working. Sometimes we know that we just had to do some specific thing, but sometimes we are doing specific things when we need it, right? Let us say I'm finding null values, but sometimes it might not be good idea to remove the null values also. It is also what data set we have and what kind of problem statement we have. So emphasize more on that. Other than that, you are explaining really well, all the code that you have written, as well as output explanation was also really well done this time. So you have improved. But again, I would say work on your PPT. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So I think Pranjal Fauzdar, you can join Mr. Saurabh Singh's meeting for your presentation. He will take your presentation, and other people can stay here. I'm posting the link in the chat, so please join using this link. Pranjal Fauzdar. Mr. Saurabh Singh will take your presentation. So next person, please turn your camera.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Devarakonda Kushieshwar.
Yes,
I am
good
going to
evening.
present about MyFitnessPal application requirements and specification. Let's get started.
Please share this.
Is it presenting, sir? The screen.
No, it is not yet present.
No, sir.
Now it is presented.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, sir. I am going to present about MyFitnessPal application requirements and specification. The PPT consists about introduction, overall description, specific requirements, and functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Let me introduce about MyFitnessPal application. It is the one of the best fitness application which was developed by MyFitnessPal Incorporation. It is the purpose is mainly for health and nutrition applications and daily planner. It is also used for managing the food choices and motivation and support the other health goals. The project scope is nowadays the everyone user are wanted to be fit and healthy, and the industry of fitness is growing extremely in the world, and each customer wants a profile based on their personalized choices, and they want to track the goals and progress. The audience are the people who are looking for getting into the shape and need for the motivation, who are already active and like to track the process of their fitness levels, and looking for the newness and the more features, and who are likely to compare the progress and competitive with the other friends or society, and schedule their customized as per the free time. The major users are between the age of 15 to the 45 are targeted. The overall description. The overall description contains the product perspective, whereas subscriptions and business partners, and it provides the premium accounts with multiple features. Extra features are added for the premium accounts, and conducting online coaching classes and interactions between the users. And the constraints used for the classes and the methods are age group, height, weight, and the gender, and the body type, which is underweight or slim or overweight or obesity. This can be found by the BMI, body mass index, based on the weight and height. And the another is GPS tracking location, and it is also used for step counting. Now let's see the specific requirements. The functional requirements are calorie tracking. This allows the users to enter the food intaken and track the calories overall the day. And workout plans are provided for the specific workout plans based on the fitness levels and user specifications. Step count. It is used to keep the tracks of the steps per day. And it is used as the center accelerator sensor, which handle the axis based on the motion sensing. And the motivation can be provided by the motivating, showing the results of the users, codes, and the music. And customization is user can customize the schedule as per their busy schedule, and they can use the task and the free schedule. Meal planning is as based on the user's intake, they can plan the meal which are suggested by the application using the AI, artificial intelligence, and the integration with smart devices. The app can be integrated with the smartwatches or music players to make the work easily. Water intake. Water intake can be based on the weight and user other conditions, and it notifies the users in the intervals to take remind the user that they have to drink the water. And let's see the user interface. The user interface requirements are responsive design by which user can use on different screen sizes as compared to desktop. They can minimize or maximize the desktop web page, and the visual hierarchy for guiding users for important options. If the options are in the hierarchy level, so they can easily approach the options which they needed. And for personalizing by providing different types of modes, there is a dark mode or light mode which prefers as per the user, using animations and transitions. The animations and transitions make the better UI so that the user feel more interactive with the application. Providing the search bars means like when a user wants to search anything, features or anything, they can search in the search bars and get the features what they want. Onboarding tutorials for the first time users makes them get habituated to the application and know what are the features and how to use it. These are the few operations I have been worked with it. Whereas the macronutrition adjustment, it consists carbs, proteins, and fats. It is we should select the user selects the percentages of the macronutrients for the day, and this keep on the tracks about the food. The food can be added by the application by just typing the name like mango or apple and select the number of pieces and the grams. So it takes the values of the carbs and proteins and fats and shows the output that day. The user can use it for the lunch and the breakfast and the dinner. And the application provides few fitness workouts. They are in the search bars. You can search and select them based on the weight and the time you work out. The calories burned are being shown. This is the operation counting calories burned after exercise. Let's see the non-functional requirements about performance. Quick responses to the users on workout plans and their operations should work well on the concurrent devices at the same time, whereas in the mobile or in the laptop or in the smart devices, user-friendly UI should be provided and the good maintenance and updates should be provided. Whereas in privacy and security, user credentials are given to the application, so they must be protected using the strong encryption techniques and data storages must be secure. Authentication mechanism for preventing unauthorized persons to perform malicious tasks from the hackers or other malicious people. Policies and agreements should be maintained. User profile. During registrations, the details of the users are taken. The profile consists the user's details and the progress. The user data is kept confidential. They can log in multiple devices as the progress is saved. Food logging. Food logging is user can enter the food details manually. For the premium accounts, the application provides the barcode scanner and meal scanning, where the user scans the barcode which is on the like biscuit packet, or they directly takes to the next page and shows the about the calories and carbohydrates, fats, and proteins present in that biscuit packet. The user can fix the values of macronutrients as per their daily intake, as we see in the before slide. Exercises provides free routines and workout plans and premium routines with extra features as personalized to the user. Customizing the workout plans as per the user specifications and requirements. There are more than 8,800 exercises provided by the application. Progress tracking. The progress tracking operations are water intake tracking, calorie tracker for the daily basis, and the progress is updated within the time. As the time goes, the progress is changed, and long-term tracking for the status. The usage of artificial intelligence is where it uses the artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze the data which is provided to the application, and based on that, it provides the accurate nutrition information for a wide range of products. Whereas we can see here, the box is scanned, the barcode is scanned by the phone, and the data is shown the calories. This is done by AI, and the machine learning algorithms process user data to generate personalized recommendations based on the dietary goals, preferences, and previous interactions. As the user uses the application based on their dietary the habits, the machine learning algorithms provides the meal plans for them for the daily basis. AI-powered algorithms track and analyze user progress to provide insights, patterns, and suggest for achieving individual goals. Here we can see the breakfast and lunch have been selected by the user. Usage of Node.js in MyFitnessPal. Node.js is used for the backend architecture, server-side scripting, and handling of application interface requests, and efficient handling for the concurrent request using event-driven non-blocking I/O model. Integration with various data storage systems such as databases and the cache systems. Support for the real-time communications and data streaming through WebSockets. Integration with the external APIs and services to enhance the application functionality. Ensures scalability, the performance, and the responsive backend infrastructure. The other two steps are testing and the maintenance. Proper testing must be done before releasing an application, whereas customer may not face any problems or bugs left over it. Checking compatibility, scalability, and completeness consistency should be done. The steps for the testing are developing the test cases from the customer or the user or by the individual by interviewing, um, writing scripts, analyzing test results, submitting defects reports, and manual testing or can be done by the software applications or by AI applications nowadays available. And the maintenance should be done, whereas the application maintenance is an ongoing process. It includes the aspects of updating, fixing bugs, and improving the functionalities of the application after its launch. Plus, it integrates the maintaining the compatibility of the application with the changing operating systems and devices, whereas it was first in the Apple iOS, Apple mobiles, then it is developed for the Android also. Thank you, sir.
So I hope your presentation is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, the presentation that you have created is really well created, I would say well researched. But when you are explaining, in a presentation, don't just simply try to read from the presentation itself. Most of the time you were reading, right? And I can also see that
Yes,
you are using your mouse to trace over the words. That is not a good thing, right? Because it looks like you are simply just reading from it, right? So work on that part. Second is that you have created good presentation, but I think your overall formatting can be improved. Like go to the testing part.
sir. Testing.
Yeah. After that. Yeah, this one. See, you have three different subtopics, right? So you can use one slide for each topic, right? That will be much more better looking, as well as the overall formatting will be better, right? It looks like
Yeah.
the lot of things are in one slide only. So you can improve it like that. And second is that I would say you can also improve your overall, let us say, font and placement of your images and everything. So it will be
Yeah.
much more better professional looking, because see, your content is good, it is just not well put together, I would say. Second is that in you, when you're doing a let us say, what I can say, yeah, when you're starting a presentation, right? So you need a hook, right? So that you can grab attention of your viewers. So try to make your presentation in that sense. And second is that even though it was like just analysis, it was more supposed to be case study, right? So
Okay.
also the conclusion part, I think, can be included. You concluded with the testing, but I think it can be improved. Like what was the previous person's name? Hemang Raj, right? See, he has something called as key takeaways, right? So you can also include something like that. Like what are the key takeaways from this presentation? right?
Okay.
So that part can be improved, but overall, I would say your content was good. It is just that work on your presentation skills. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Then Samuel, you have presentation.
हेलो सर, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
एक्चुअली सर मेरी कुछ प्रेजेंटेशन मिस हुई थी,
Yeah,
तो
sure.
क्या मैंने कल मल्टीपल प्रेजेंटेशन दे सकता हूँ?
You can do one presentation today if it is possible.
Actually I haven't, it's not possible right now, but I will give you, कल दे दूंगा मैं 3 presentation.
Not 3. Can you give me your email?
2020 MCB
Wait, wait. 2020 MCB
1249.
49. Okay, yeah. So you are scheduled for 2 presentation, that is overview of project synopsis and develop a doctor search website.
Yes, also my third project is also almost ready.
No, you have to schedule that presentation. So tomorrow you can only give 2 presentation. That is first you can give presentation for develop a doctor search website, and second presentation you can give is overview of project synopsis.
Okay sir.
For third you have to schedule again. Okay, but
Okay.
give 2 presentation first. Okay, I can send you the score so that third
Can improve.
presentation will be, yeah. Okay,
Thank you sir.
yeah, thank you, sir. So I think you are the last person. You can leave the session if you want. I will just keep the presentation going on for quite some time. If no one joins, then we'll conclude here for the day. Okay.